The film begins 17 years earlier at a secret InGen facility on Isle St. Hubert. Inside a containment chamber, scientist Williams and his team are working on genetically mutated dinosaurs. However, Williams makes a critical mistake. He's eating a Snickers bar, and the discarded wrapper gets caught in the door's mechanism, triggering a malfunction. This breach unleashes the Distortus Rex, and before Williams can escape, he is devoured by the monstrous predator. Fast forward 32 years after dinosaurs returned to the mainland. Most of the creatures are now dying out due to the planet's changing climate. Public fascination has largely faded, and the surviving dinosaurs are confined to tropical zones near the equator, areas now strictly off-limits to humans. In the present, pharmaceutical representative Martin Krebs of Parker Genix finds himself stuck in traffic when an Apatosaurus collapses and dies in the middle of the street. Soon after, he meets Zora Bennett, a former covert military operative whom he has hired for an extraction mission. Together, they visit a closing dinosaur museum where they meet paleontologist Henry Loomis. Krebs reveals his plan: to travel to Isle St. Hubert and collect DNA samples from 3 species: the Mosasaur, the Titanosaur, and the Quetzalcoatlus, in hopes of developing groundbreaking medical treatments that could save millions of lives. The trio then heads to Paramaribo to meet the expedition leader, Duncan Kincaid, a man with a complicated past who once served alongside Zora. Duncan is still haunted by the death of a mutual comrade during one of their missions. Their team is rounded out by seasoned ally Bobby Atwater, along with newcomers Nina and Leclerc. Before proceeding, Duncan forces Krebs to accept his strict terms. The group then deliberates over the immense risks ahead, not just the danger of the mission, but the ethical dilemma of sacrificing dinosaurs in the name of human survival. Out in the Atlantic Ocean, Ruben Delgado is aboard a boat with his daughters Teresa and Isabella, along with Teresa's boyfriend, Xavier. Ruben has little patience for Xavier, whom he sees as smug and lazy, though Teresa insists her father give him a chance. Their trip takes a deadly turn when the vessel is struck by a mosasaur, flipping it over. Xavier narrowly avoids being eaten, while Ruben scrambles to send out a distress call. The crew intercepts the family's signal, and Duncan leads the rescue, bringing them aboard. Almost immediately, they are surrounded by a pack of Spinosaurs working in tandem with the Mosasaur to hunt. In the chaos, Bobby is the first to be dragged under and killed. Teresa attempts to radio for help, but Krebs wrestles with her for control and, refusing to aid her, causes her to fall overboard. Xavier leaps in after her, followed closely by Ruben and Isabella. Meanwhile, Zora takes the opportunity to collect a DNA sample from the Mosasaur. The beast slams into the boat as it charges at her, nearly swallowing her whole. With quick reflexes, Zora manages to shoot a dart containing the vial into the creature. Once the sample is secured, the dart ejects and deploys a parachute, allowing her to retrieve it safely. The crew narrowly escapes, but Duncan is forced to crash-land the boat onto the shores of Isle St. Hubert. As they gather their gear, Nina is suddenly dragged to her death by a Spinosaur. The remaining team, Zora, Henry, Duncan, Krebs, and Leclerc, trek deeper into the island until they come across massive titanosaurs. Henry, moved by the sight of them, urges Zora to reconsider their mission, though she still manages to extract a sample. Elsewhere, the Delgado family and Xavier press forward on their own in search of a village or any form of help. During the journey, Ruben begins to glimpse Xavier's vulnerable side, realizing that perhaps Teresa was right about him all along. While stepping away to relieve himself, Xavier is stalked by 2 raptors until a towering Mutodon swoops in, scaring one away and carrying off the corpse of the other. Meanwhile, Isabella stumbles upon a baby Aqualops, names it Dolores, and decides to adopt the tiny creature. The next morning, the Delgado family continues their trek until they reach a riverbank. Suddenly, Dolores bolts in fear, prompting Teresa to follow. She stumbles upon the torn carcass of a dinosaur and quickly realizes the culprit is a slumbering Tyrannosaurus Rex. The beast awakens and charges after them. The family scrambles onto a raft, narrowly avoiding disaster as Isabella comes within inches of being devoured. Somehow, they escape downriver. Meanwhile, The expedition team scales a cliff to reach the nesting cave of the Quetzalcoatlus. Inside, Zora and Henry retrieve a sample from one of the massive eggs. Their success is short-lived, however, as the Quetzalcoatlus returns and launches a vicious assault. LeClaire is torn apart, while Zora and Henry barely manage to flee with the sample intact. Henry plummets down the cliff but survives after crashing through tree branches and into the river below, where Zora, Duncan, and Krebs later reunite with him. The team regroups at a landing pad, awaiting a helicopter extraction. Zora, unwilling to abandon the Delgado family, insists they find them first. When both groups finally reunite, tensions flare as Teresa accuses Krebs of nearly letting her die. The situation escalates when Krebs brandishes a gun scavenged from a corpse. Before they can resolve the conflict, nearby generators power on, drawing two ferocious mutadons. The family hides in an old supply shack, narrowly outpacing the predators. Spotting the helicopter overhead, Henry lights flares to signal it, only for the fiery glow to draw out the dreaded Distortus Rex. The monstrous hybrid obliterates the chopper and its crew in seconds. In desperation, Krebs tries to flee in a van, but the D-Rex intercepts and devours him. Henry salvages the remaining DNA samples, while the others rush toward the shoreline. Duncan stays behind to buy them time, but when Zora sees his flare burning defiantly in the distance, she orders the boat to turn back. Against all odds, they manage to pull him aboard. As dawn breaks, Zora and Henry reflect on their mission. Together, they agree that the recovered samples should be used to create medicine distributed freely, without patents, ensuring life-saving treatments can reach everyone, not just those who can afford them.